Somewhere right now, someone is giving up. Giving up on investing, giving up on a business, giving up on a dream, giving up on a better future. Not because they failed, but because success took longer than they expected. And that may be one of the greatest tragedies of modern life. We have been trained to expect everything immediately. Food, entertainment, messages, validation, results. Everything arrives faster than ever before. Everything except wealth. Imagine planting an apple tree today. You carefully place the seed into the soil. You water it, you protect it, you do everything right. Then, 1 week later, you dig it up. Just to see if it is growing. Sounds ridiculous, yet millions of people do exactly that with their money. They invest, they panic, they sell, they start over, again, and again, and again. Then they wonder why wealth never arrives. André Kostolany spent decades observing investors. He lived through wars, financial crises, market crashes, speculative manias, and after a lifetime of studying human behavior, he discovered a truth so simple. Most people ignore it. The greatest rewards in life belong to those who can wait. And in the next few minutes, you will discover why patience may be the most valuable asset you will ever own. Chapter 1. The world has trained us to be impatient. Think about the world you live in. You can order food with a tap, watch any movie instantly, speak with someone on the other side of the planet in seconds, buy almost anything and have it delivered tomorrow. Everything is designed to eliminate waiting. Waiting feels uncomfortable. Waiting feels inefficient. Waiting feels wrong. And over time, something dangerous happens. We begin to believe that every reward should arrive quickly, including wealth, especially wealth. A young investor buys a stock. 1 week later, nothing happens. 1 month later, still nothing. 3 months later, the stock barely moved. Doubt begins to grow. Maybe this investment was wrong. Maybe there is a better opportunity. Maybe someone else knows something I don't. Then suddenly, a friend starts talking about another investment, a new trend, a new technology, a new opportunity. And just like that, patience disappears. The original investment is sold. A new one is purchased. Then the cycle repeats, again, and again, and again. Most people spend years running in circles, not because they lack intelligence, but because they lack patience. The modern world has convinced them that movement is progress, but movement is not always progress. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is stay where you are. Imagine 2 investors. Both start with exactly the same amount of money. Both have access to the same information. Both are equally intelligent. The first investor constantly changes direction. Every market movement creates a reaction. Every headline creates a decision. Every trend creates temptation. The second investor appears boring. He learns, he invests, he waits. Years pass. One investor is exhausted, the other is wealthy. Not because he worked harder, not because he was smarter, but because he understood something most people never learn. Time is not the enemy. Time is the advantage. And that is exactly what André Kostolany understood better than almost anyone. Chapter 2. The man who understood human nature. Imagine sitting in a small Paris cafe. The smell of coffee fills the air. People rush through the streets. Everyone seems busy. Everyone seems focused. Everyone seems convinced they know what they are doing. But one man sees something different. He sees fear. He sees greed. He sees impatience. He sees human nature. His name was André Kostolany. For more than 70 years, he observed markets, not just prices, not just companies, people, because he understood something extraordinary. Markets are driven by human emotions, and human emotions rarely change. Technology changes, governments change, currencies change. Human nature does not. People still become greedy. People still become afraid. People still chase shortcuts. People still abandon patience. And that is why history keeps repeating itself. Kostolany lived through some of the most dramatic financial events in modern history. World wars, economic collapses, currency crises, stock market crashes, speculative bubbles. He watched fortunes appear and disappear, again and again. And after decades of observation, he noticed a pattern. The people who consistently succeeded were rarely the most brilliant. They were rarely the most informed. They were rarely the most talented. Instead, they possessed something far more valuable: emotional discipline, the ability to remain calm while everyone else was losing control, the ability to remain patient while everyone else demanded immediate results, the ability to trust time. And perhaps nowhere is this lesson more powerful than in the story Kostolany often used to explain wealth itself. Chapter 3. The Apple Tree Principle. Imagine a father and his daughter walking through a quiet garden. The sun is beginning to set. The air is calm. In the father's hand, a tiny apple seed, small, fragile, almost insignificant. Together, they kneel down, dig a small hole, place the seed into the earth, and cover it with soil. The daughter smiles. She imagines apples, branches, a beautiful tree. She imagines it all. Tomorrow, the next morning, she runs outside, excited, full of anticipation. She looks at the place where the seed was planted. Nothing. 1 week passes, still nothing. 1 month passes, still nothing. The ground remains silent, empty, lifeless. Eventually, she becomes frustrated. "Dad, why isn't it growing?" Her father smiles, because he understands something she doesn't. The most important growth is happening where nobody can see it. Beneath the surface, the roots are expanding, searching, strengthening, preparing. Yet from above, it appears as if nothing is happening. And that is exactly how wealth is built. Most people only believe in progress when they can see it. They need proof, evidence, validation, results, immediately. But life's greatest rewards rarely arrive that way. Think about learning a language. The first weeks feel disappointing. Think about building a business. Months can pass without visible success. Think about transforming your body. The mirror often changes last. And think about investing. Years may pass before extraordinary results become visible. The problem is not that growth isn't happening. The problem is that growth is invisible. And invisible progress creates doubt. Doubt creates impatience. Impatience creates mistakes. Most people never fail because they chose the wrong seed. They fail because they keep digging it up. Again, and again, and again. Every time they switch investments, every time they abandon a goal, every time they chase the next opportunity, they are digging up the roots, destroying progress before it has a chance to appear. And then something remarkable happens. Years later, the apple tree finally breaks through the surface. A small green shoot appears. Suddenly everyone notices. Suddenly everyone wants an apple tree. But nobody sees the years of invisible growth that came first. Nobody sees the patience. Nobody sees the waiting. Nobody sees the faith. They only see the result. And that is one of the greatest illusions in wealth. People see success, but they never see the patience that created it. Kostolany understood this. He knew that extraordinary wealth is often built during long periods when nothing seems to happen. The world calls those periods boring. The patient investor calls them opportunity, because while others are searching for excitement, time is quietly doing the heavy lifting. And time may be the most powerful force in the financial universe. Chapter 4. Why investors panic. Now imagine a completely different scene. You wake up one morning, reach for your phone, open your investment account, and immediately something feels wrong. Everything is red. -5%, -10%, -20%. The number you've spent years building has suddenly become much smaller. Your stomach tightens, your breathing changes, your heart begins to race. And then the voice appears, the same voice that has destroyed countless fortunes. What if this time is different? What if it keeps falling? What if I lose everything? At that moment, the market is no longer testing your investment. It is testing you. And most people don't even realize it. Because the greatest danger during a market crash is rarely the crash itself. The greatest danger is your reaction. Kostolany watched this happen throughout his entire life. Markets would fall, fear would spread, news headlines would become dramatic, experts would predict catastrophe, people would panic, and then they would sell. Not because they had carefully analysed the situation, not because the fundamentals had changed, but because fear became unbearable. Fear is powerful. Fear feels intelligent. Fear sounds logical. Fear whispers, protect yourself. Act now. Do something. And doing something always feels better than doing nothing, even when doing nothing is the correct decision. This is why panic is so expensive, because panic convinces people to exchange future rewards for immediate emotional relief. The pain disappears, but so does the opportunity. History shows the same pattern repeatedly. Every major crash feels permanent while it is happening. Every crisis feels unique. Every panic feels justified. And yet, the storm eventually passes. The headlines disappear. The fear fades. The market recovers. And the patient are rewarded. Imagine standing in the middle of a violent storm. The wind is howling. The rain is relentless. Everything feels chaotic. Would you assume the sun has disappeared forever? Of course not. Chapter 5. The hidden cost of impatience. Most people think impatience only affects investing. It doesn't. It affects entire lives. Imagine a young man walking into a gym for the first time. He looks at himself in the mirror. He imagines strength, confidence, transformation, a better future. The first workout feels amazing. The second workout feels amazing. The third workout feels amazing. Then something happens. A month passes. The mirror barely changes. The excitement fades. Doubt appears. Maybe this isn't working. Maybe I'm wasting my time. Maybe I'm not talented enough. And so, he quits. Not because the process failed, but because the results were invisible. Now imagine another person. Same starting point, same goals, same frustrations. The difference? They keep going. 1 month becomes 6. 6 months becomes 2 years. 2 years becomes 5. Eventually, the transformation becomes impossible to ignore. People call it discipline. People call it dedication. Some even call it luck. But what they are really looking at is patience. The exact same principle applies to wealth, and relationships, and businesses, and knowledge, and health. Almost everything valuable in life grows slowly, yet most people are addicted to speed. They want rewards immediately, validation immediately, success immediately. And because reality refuses to cooperate, they constantly switch direction. A new opportunity, a new strategy, a new dream, a new shortcut. Each one promises faster results. Each one promises easier success. Each one delays mastery. Imagine planting 10 apple trees, then abandoning each one after 6 months. You would spend your entire life planting and never enjoy the fruit. This is exactly how many people approach wealth. They are constantly starting, rarely finishing, always moving, never arriving. And the tragedy is, they often quit right before progress becomes visible, right before the roots become strong enough, right before the tree begins to grow. The greatest rewards in life often exist just beyond the point where most people give up. And that may be the hidden cost of impatience, not the opportunities you miss, but the future you never allow to develop. Chapter 6. What happens when you trust time now? Imagine something different. Imagine trusting time, not for a week, not for a month, not for a year, for a decade. Imagine making one intelligent decision, then allowing it to grow, quietly, patiently, without constantly interfering, without constantly doubting, without constantly searching for something better. This is where life begins to change, because time possesses a remarkable power. It magnifies small advantages. Tiny improvements become meaningful. Meaningful improvements become extraordinary. And extraordinary outcomes often appear inevitable in hindsight. But they never feel inevitable while they are happening. Think about a single degree. 1 degree seems insignificant. Yet a 1 degree change in direction can lead to a completely different destination. Life works the same way. A small investment, repeated consistently. A daily walk, repeated consistently. A book every month, repeated consistently. A commitment to learning, repeated consistently. The results seem small at first, almost invisible. Then something happens. Compounding begins. And compounding changes everything. Most people imagine wealth as a giant leap, a lottery ticket, a breakthrough, a lucky moment. But genuine wealth is usually much quieter, much slower, much less exciting, and much more powerful. Because true wealth is not merely money. Money is only the visible part. The deeper reward is freedom. The freedom to choose. The freedom to breathe. The freedom to live according to your values. The freedom to spend your time the way you want. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning. No alarm clock, no financial panic, no anxiety about the next bill, no constant pressure, just options, just possibility, just freedom. That is what patience can ultimately create. Not merely a larger account balance, a larger life. And the beautiful irony is this: the people who become financially free are often the people who stop obsessing about getting rich quickly. They stop chasing, they stop forcing, they stop digging up the roots, and instead, they allow time to become their partner. Because time, when combined with patience, can achieve things that effort alone never could. Chapter 7. Kostolany's greatest lesson. After a lifetime of observing markets, after watching fortunes rise and fortunes disappear, after witnessing fear, greed, panic, euphoria, and every emotion in between, André Kostolany arrived at a conclusion that was almost absurdly simple. The stock market is not primarily a test of intelligence, it is a test of character. Think about that. Today, we have more information than any generation in human history. Financial news is available 24 hours a day. Millions of videos explain investing. Thousands of experts share opinions every hour. Information has never been more accessible. Yet financial freedom remains rare. Why? Because information is not the problem. Human behavior is. Knowledge tells you what to do. Emotions determine whether you actually do it. And that changes everything. Because during a bull market, almost everyone looks intelligent. Confidence rises, optimism spreads, people feel invincible. But then, the cycle changes. The headlines become negative, prices fall, fear spreads, and suddenly, the same people who were confident yesterday become terrified today. Nothing reveals character faster than uncertainty. That is why Kostolany often focused less on investments, and more on investors, because he understood something profound. The greatest battle is rarely happening in the market. The greatest battle is happening inside your mind, the battle between patience and impatience, between conviction and fear, between long-term thinking and short-term emotion. And in that battle, most people lose, not because they lack intelligence, but because they lack patience. Kostolany once made an observation that became legendary. The stock market transfers money from the impatient to the patient. At first glance, it sounds simple, but the deeper you think about it, the more powerful it becomes. Notice what he did not say. He didn't say, from the poor to the rich. He didn't say, from the uninformed to the informed. He didn't say, from the weak to the strong. He said, from the impatient to the patient. Because impatience creates mistakes. Impatience creates panic. Impatience creates regret. Impatience creates constant change. Patience creates clarity. Patience creates confidence. Patience creates growth. Patience allows compounding to perform its magic. And perhaps most importantly, patience allows you to stay in the game long enough to win. Because success often arrives later than people expect. Much later. And that is exactly why so many people miss it. They leave before the miracle happens. They quit before the harvest. They abandon the tree before it bears fruit. And years later, they wonder what might have happened if they had simply stayed, if they had trusted, if they had waited, if they had remained patient. Final chapter, the quiet power of patience. Imagine yourself 10 years from now, not tomorrow, not next month, not next year, 10 years. Imagine waking up early in the morning. The sun slowly rises over the city. Golden light fills the room. You walk onto the balcony. A warm cup of coffee in your hand. No rush, no panic, no fear. No desperate need to check your bank account. No anxiety about the future. Just calm. Just peace. Just freedom. And as you stand there, looking out over the city, you begin to realize something. The life you're living wasn't built in a single day. It wasn't created by one perfect investment, one lucky decision, one breakthrough moment. It was built through thousands of small choices, small decisions, repeated consistently over many years. Decisions that often felt insignificant at the time. Saving instead of spending, learning instead of quitting, waiting instead of panicking, trusting instead of doubting, choosing patience, when impatience would have been easier. And suddenly, you understand something most people never do. The greatest rewards in life grow slowly. Relationships, knowledge, health, businesses, wealth. All of them follow the same rule. First the roots, then the fruit. First the invisible growth, then the visible success. And perhaps that is the most important lesson André Kostolany ever taught. Life rewards those who stay, those who continue, those who endure, those who remain patient long enough for time to reveal what it has been building all along. Because time is doing more than you think. Right now, at this very moment. While others are chasing shortcuts, time is building. While others are looking for certainty, time is compounding. While others are giving up, time is working. Quietly, patiently, relentlessly. And one day, the results appear. The tree bears fruit. The investments compound. The opportunities multiply. The freedom arrives. And people call it luck. But you will know the truth. It was never luck. It was patience. Because wealth does not belong to the smartest. It does not belong to the fastest. It does not belong to the loudest. Wealth belongs to the patient. And if there is one lesson worth remembering after this video, let it be this. Do not dig up the tree. Trust the roots. Trust the process. Trust time, because the future belongs to those who stay long enough to let time work its magic. Thank you for watching Future Rich. If this lesson inspired you, remember to subscribe, and until next time, keep building your future, one patient step at a time.